Hi there. Welcome to Bible/Chat. Jason, nice to have you back.
Thank you. Nice
How
to
was
be
your
back.
time away? Your little hiatus from Bible/Chat.
Beautiful. No, I'm just kidding.
Did you enjoy it?
It was good.
Did you relax?
We did.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Arizona?
Well, I was on Bible/Chat a little bit for that.
You were.
And then the week after.
Yeah, digitally. But then you
Yeah.
had that week off because
Right.
you were. What were you doing?
I forgot. No, I was kidding. I was in class.
In class.
2 classes, 8:30 to 5:40 every day.
Wow.
Monday through Friday.
Wow. For biblical counseling.
Yeah, 2 classes back to back.
Did you learn a lot?
Yes.
Good. Excellent.
Yeah, it was good.
So Kevin came in and replaced
I
you.
know. It was good.
Yeah.
He's very capable.
He is very capable,
Yeah.
very smart guy.
Mhm.
So thankful for
Well
him.
spoken.
Yeah, very well spoken. Smart. Sharp as a tack, that Kevin Van
Good haircut,
Tongeren.
too.
Yep, and that, it's the Dutch. It's the Dutch side of him.
Yeah, for better or worse.
Yeah, anyway.
Just kidding.
They haven't given us much, but they gave us Kevin. Just
Tulips.
and tulips, which they ate during World War II.
Yikes.
Anyway, so
All right.
we're going to talk about a new topic, just
Yeah.
a random one
No,
here,
no,
just a
no.
one-off.
Yeah.
So one of the things that people at our church know, but maybe others don't, is that you're candidating at a church as
Yeah.
their potential future pastor.
Yeah.
So, so maybe sort of a question built around that.
Yep.
When you have a guy who's called to ministry, we talked about that on some previous videos. What are
sure.
some of the categories that he can go into in terms of ways that he can fulfill that calling
Yeah.
that God has for him? Now, obviously, God is sovereign over all this, right? But then,
course.
what are some of the ways that we would think about those biblical categories
Yeah.
of where he could serve in that role?
So when we think about a guy being called to certain positions,
Yeah.
one would be church planting, planting a brand new church somewhere,
Yeah.
right? Taking people from often pre-existing church,
Yeah.
and they move 30
Transplanting
miles,
somewhere,
100
yeah.
miles, whatever it is, or
Or just like a cold evangelist,
pioneer
just dropping
guy,
into
right?
an unreached people group,
Just
starting to share the gospel,
You
building
know,
them into a church.
and
Yeah.
build a little church there. They can have that, or planting, or candidating, which is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Where there's an existing church, and for whatever reason, they don't have a pastor. So
Right.
they're looking for a pastor, and you go through a process of candidating, interviewing, getting to know you. They get
Yeah.
to know you. You get to know them. Things like that. And then the third one, which it could fall under candidating, is revitalization.
Okay.
Where you're not starting a new church, but it's probably through the process of candidating.
Yeah.
You take over an existing church, and we say revitalization because it's kind of fallen on hard times for
Gotcha.
whatever reason.
Yeah. So it was a good church, solid.
Yeah.
Like growing, vibrant.
Yep.
Now has kind of dropped off.
Yeah.
Lacking a pastor.
Exactly.
Need someone to step in.
Usually it's because they don't have a pastor, they're dying, or they're hurting, or they're coming off a church split,
Yeah.
or maybe the pastor led them astray a little bit doctrinally.
Gotcha.
But then enough of the congregation or leaders are like, no, we don't want that.
Yeah.
Booted the other guy.
Yeah.
And are now just hurting.
Yeah. But in your case, that's not the case, right?
No,
I mean,
no, it's not that.
Solid guy. Yeah, you're
Yeah, solid
candidating.
church. Yeah. So, and none of those three are wrong.
Yeah.
None are better than the other, and each one is a different calling.
Yeah, totally.
The man is called to the ministry by Christ,
Yeah.
but then specifics of that calling,
Yeah.
right? Whether it's in this role or that role, or this place or that place,
Yeah.
that's different.
Yeah, how those fit in terms of gifting and the way
Yeah.
that God moves them.
Yep.
So the teaching, proclamation of the word, that act,
Yeah.
Ephesians 4 type of
Right.
These men who are gifted to
Pastor,
the church.
teachers,
Yeah.
evangelists. Mhm.
So those categories are sort of holistic. But then we
Right.
think of these as like three kind of branches of ways that can function.
Exactly, because an evangelist might be well suited for church planting,
Right.
but doesn't have to be.
Right.
But probably he's good for that, or missions work.
Yeah.
Or being a pastor of evangelism at a church,
Yeah.
and
But he might not be the most gifted shepherd per se. Or
right,
whatever.
right,
Yeah.
and that's the funny thing too. Is like you can't pigeonhole people and say,
Yeah.
well, he's better at evangelism, so he can't be this or that.
Right.
Well, everyone has strengths and weaknesses,
Totally.
and each context even is different.
Yeah.
Too, and what churches need, but
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, like in your heart, at this point, you're candidating in a church.
Yeah.
But in some ways, it's very interesting. I mean, the way the Lord just sovereignly led you into that.
Yeah.
Like, considering all of those options, but then
Right.
clearly the Lord's moving you in that direction.
He,
So that's
he
actually really
has
neat.
been or was. Yeah, I mean, if it was down to like, let's say church planting or candidating and the possibilities of that,
Yeah.
it's hard.
Yeah.
You're like.
Hard to
In
pick.
that moment, you're like, well, I can see myself doing something or
Yeah,
both.
both.
I don't
Yeah.
know, and you look at your strengths and weaknesses, and you try to do this spreadsheet in your mind.
Yeah,
but then
yeah.
at a certain point, that doesn't help.
Yeah, totally.
Because it has to be just the Lord has to. This is not to make it mystical, but there's no pragmatic
Yeah.
about it. You can't do that. It's not buying a car.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
It is a spiritual decision and if ever there was
If
one.
ever there was one, absolutely.
So you just pray, ask other people to pray, talk to elders, have them pray. But you guys were not like, you should do this and you should, do that. There's no pressure.
Yeah.
They want what's best for you, which is the Lord's will.
Yeah, totally.
At the end of the day, say,
absolutely.
well, James 4,
Yeah. God
if
knows.
you will, Lord, just form my desires one way or the other. And as you pray and you read and think and talk, and eventually the Lord will give you those
It
desires.
just trickles down, and eventually you see it.
Yeah,
That's
it just may be hard to get to that point.
Totally, yeah, absolutely.
But it's necessary.
Yeah. And all of that, in some ways, you're like relinquishing the idols that might be in your heart.
That's
and
the
wrestling
main
through
thing.
all that stuff, so that you're able to have more clarity on
Oh
God's
yeah,
will.
and you know that going to India,
and then coming home again.
because you were going to go to India, and then you were going to go candidate somewhere else, right?
Yeah, totally.
Most likely, right?
Yep.
So, and even before you were wrestling with those two options, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we understand it.
Super hard.
It is a hard season. Yeah.
But I think you're right. The reason that it's hard probably is because all the junk in your soul is coming out.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I'm a wretch.
Yeah. God's got to purify of all that.
Like, man, I am worse than I thought I was. Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
No, it's true. Like, if you don't deal with those idols now,
Yeah.
like that church is going to hurt because you're going to have to deal with it 5 years in, 10 years.
You'll see them. They'll come to light eventually.
Yeah, and it's better that we deal with it on the front end or when you're younger, when you're an intern starting out. That's why, go through that winnowing process early on and let the Lord just work on your heart, even though it's super hard. But it's good.
Yeah, it's good and it'll help you.
It's a good surgeon.
Yeah, totally. Amen.
Yeah. Anyway, those are the three.
Super helpful, man. That's super, super helpful. Thanks for sharing.
Of course.
Appreciate it. We're praying for you.
Thank you. Need him.
We're mad at you, but we're praying for you. No, I'm just kidding. All right, well, we appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to shoot them to us. We'd love to talk about them. Thanks so much.